I've got legs, and I know how to use them. They're Clone Trooper legs, and they're done. I'm going to tell you how I did it today on Darth Rage Reviews.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker. But you are not a Jedi yet.
Greetings, Force fans, and welcome to another episode of Darth Rage Reviews, your source for the Force. So, guys, first business out of the way as always. If you haven't, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, click it so you're notified every single time I post, because, guys, I'm dropping videos on the daily. If you like Star Wars, props, lightsabers, any of that junk, you'll like this. Trust me. It's completely free. I'd almost be offended if you didn't do it. So I'll give you a second. Go ahead and click it. There we go. Business out of the way. Now on to the fun stuff, guys. We are back to the Clone Trooper build, and we're getting even closer. The helmet's done. Helmet right there. The arms are done. I've already got a video somewhere back in the intranets. That video's there. The arms are done. Now the legs are complete as well. So I'm getting closer, guys. I've really only got two other pieces: the chest back, and then the ab cod butt, which is the clone diaper. And those pieces are really far along. Actually, if I tell you in real life, it's almost all done. But shh, don't tell anybody, because I'm not going to reveal it until May 4th. But right now I'm showing you the legs. So the legs are very similar to the arms in construction. The thigh piece that you have here, other than the paintings, so these do have stripes. Two of them have stripes, and the knee has a little kind of stripe on it as well. So, but in construction-wise, this is very similar to the bicep. When you don't drop it, the knee is almost identical to the elbow, just a different shape, but construction-wise almost identical. Strap's a little different. It's got a raised portion in the middle of it. Also, I don't yet have the clips. I'm having some clips 3D printed here, which is for level 2 certification for the 501st, so I'll add those later. But the knee, very similar to the bicep. But this piece, however, is completely different than the forearm. So this is the shin piece. And in order to get your foot into this, your foot can't physically fit through this hole. I mean, my hand can, but your foot can't do it. It just, you don't have the dexterity in order to get your foot straight enough to get it down and in there. So in order to kind of trick the system, they've created this Shin spoon system. So this is actually two pieces that come apart and then clip in on the clip that's right there. You see one. There's one on the other side, and then there's one on the top up here. And so you put this on without that, and then slide this piece in, and it just kind of clips into place, and then you've got the semblance of a one-piece piece. So that is really the only difference in this build between the arms. So I've got to apologize. I do have a build video coming up, but this build was spread over really about 2 months, this portion of it. So some of the video I ended up deleting on accident, so I apologize for that. And I didn't document all of it, but I think I've got a good enough version so you can kind of get the gist of what went down here. And again, this is very similar build-wise, finish-wise, paint-wise to the arms. So I didn't document exactly all of that. I did document this portion though, which is creating the shin spoon, so you can kind of see what goes into that. This is what most people consider probably the hardest part of a clone trooper build is this shin spoon system. So I was happy when I got this knocked out. So let's take a look real quick at what went into building all these pieces. So take a look. Alright, so I started with filling all of the seams on these. I got these pieces, the shins and the thighs were already put together by the guy that I bought the kit from. So I had to fill these seams, and there were some cracks in them using the ABS slurry that I created. just kind of filling up those seams really nicely. It creates a bond that melds it all together. Then I had to come through with the Dremel and sand down the inner part and outer parts, make these ends smooth. Went kind of between the Dremel and hand sanding those to smooth all that pieces out. I've got the inner spoon there on the side, you can see that, and the outer spoon. Just trying to make it all really pretty. Yeah, it was a whole lot of Dremel work and a whole lot of sanding just to make that smooth. You kind of want to make it look like glass almost, you know, a nice smooth surface. That's the thing about these clones, is no seams and it's all smooth. Then came creating the Shin spoon system. So using some ABS slurry and 3 pieces. Basically I clipped 3 pieces, 2 on the sides and 1 on the very top, to hold the spoon in. And it's kind of done with measuring. You know, I slide the spoon in there, make sure that it's gripped and clipped in there, glue the piece down, and then clamp it and let it sit. Really got lucky on each time and nailed it the first time. So then in between that, I added some padding to the knees. This was a very easy process, just taking some EVS foam, cutting it into pieces, and then gluing it in. I glued several layers of that in there just to pop the knees out a little bit and kind of let them sit over the shins and underneath the thigh armor, let them sit there a little bit better. So some EVS foam and some Gorilla Glue this time, not E6000, using some Gorilla Glue, and my trusty clamps. Lots of clamps. You guys know I love my clamps. So did the knee work on that, and that's actually all the video I have of the knees. I did not video any of the other knee stuff. Very similar to the elbows. Then back to the process of sanding, filler primer, and then the Bondo glazing spot putty. And I did this over and over and over and over and over again because these seams were really rough. I really probably should have taken a little time sanding them and doing that a little better. But back and forth on that, whole lot of sanding, whole lot of priming. And some I don't show you guys is I rinse these off in between each step. You know, I rinse out after I sand it, rinse it, dry it, then paint it. But basically filler primer, glazing spot putty, sand it down, filler primer, glazing spot putty, sand it down, do that over and over again. And then from there on, the process is really similar to the arms. Once you get that smooth surface, then you lay the filler primer down, and then it's a couple coats of this Krylon white. And I've switched to the thighs here. The process is the same for the thighs and for the shin. So switch to the thighs, but a couple coats of that Krylon white on there. I think it took 3 coats on each of them just to really make it shine, make it look pretty. And so you make it look really pretty, and then you mess it up. So then it's taped off. Each of these pieces have dual stripes down the side. Luke went to the CRL for the measurements, and I think they're like a 3/4 inch wide, and basically run the length of them except for the thighs. One of the stripes doesn't go all the way to the top. So taped it off and then threw down a layer of white first just to kind of cover everything and really cover any taping mistakes that you make there. Highly suggest doing this anytime you're doing any kind of coloring like that. So laid down the Krylon white on top, let that dry. Did that on both pieces, and then a couple layers of the blue. Of course, in my recording process, I did not actually record me painting the blue down, so you guys can imagine that after I laid this white down, I laid down a little blue on top of it. I think it was 3 coats, just until I could not see white anymore. Made a nice little blue. When it's all dried, all ready to go, then it's time to remove the tape. And this is the fun part. So pulled all the tape off, and luckily these lines were really clean, and I was very happy with how they turned out. So got, like I said, it's dual stripes down the sides, and it's both on the thighs and on the lower legs as well, the shins. Both of those have those dual stripes. So very happy with how both of those turned out. And removing the tape is always the fun part. For those of you that do the painting, you guys know this is, this is like, it's almost as good as when you don't have any sanding left. The tape part, it's so much fun. So got those stripes looking good, and then it's time for the final weathering. Added blaster stripes kind of all throughout, and then it's just my acrylic black wash, guys. This is a standard finish for me. I just take some watered down acrylic black paint, and you're just washing it all over and drying it off with a paper towel. You know, I pay heavy attention to the seams here. I kind of want to get those seams in the places that the dirt would stick. I try to really want to get those heavy with that paint. Also went through this time, I'd forgotten to add liquid latex to do the weathering on the blue stripes, so I went through with a file and just kind of cut those up and added the weathering myself. I think it worked out pretty well. But a couple layers of this on both pieces and you're done, guys. That's it. All right, so normally in this process now, I would take the time to put all of this stuff on. However, I'm not going to do that. Not anymore until I get it all put together, because I kind of don't want to spoil the surprise of what the clone looks like all together. I will, however, kind of show you how this is harnessed up. So the arms, you know, I showed you they're clipped on at the shoulders and they're attached to my neck seal. So this is actually, we've got a belt that I've attached clips to. So I've got two clips on there. This belt goes around my waist, and then these clips on either side clip in to my thigh armor. So the thigh armor is clipped in, the knee armor is hooked on with this elastic. So I've got this elastic band kind of inside the outer band, and that just holds the knee armor in place. Sorry, that would be upside down. Holds the knee armor in place. And then this, the shin just sits on top of the shoe. It doesn't go anywhere. And when it's all put together, a whole lot of really good movement. So I'm very happy with the movement on there. I did have, when I test fit this, one of these straps came off on my other knee, so I'm re-gluing that now. May have to come up with some other workaround for that, because the glue does not want to stick really well to these silicone straps. So I have to figure that out, maybe a different type of glue. I don't know. But very happy with how all this is fitting. So where do we go from here, guys? Where do we go from here? Like I said, I'm getting really, really, really close on this build. My goal is to have something to release to you guys on May 4th, kind of my little May the 4th be with you. So look for a video of kind of the full costume release on May 4th, and I'll probably do one other video in between there that details the centerpiece, maybe the chest piece, kind of all separately, how I've put those together, because I've taken kind of a little bit of a different route than most people do on those two pieces, at least the ab and the chest piece. And you know, I'll see if you guys like it or not. But yeah, I figured it all out, the belt, all that. And actually, if I look down in the corner over there, it's all actually sitting right there. But can't share it with you yet. So May 4th, look for a big reveal for that. Not going to yet be ready to submit for 501st approval, because I'm still waiting on really two things. Those clips for the knees, as well as the back plate. I need the back plate that's being printed by my buddy Brian. Thank you very much. So I'm going to pick that up from him. Once I get that in there, then I'll be able to apply this for 501st approval and see what happens, see if I need to change anything. So that's all I've got for you today, guys. One step closer of doing it for the Republic. My clone trooper is getting really close. Oh, also, I did finally glue in the shield and the mesh in the nose. I don't know if you can see that in there, but yeah, the helmet's 100 now. So really good. Doing this for the Republic, guys. As always, I'm Darth Rage. This is Darth Rage Reviews, your source for the Force.
The circle is now complete. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.